how I think real estate should be done. Number one, with free marketing. You don't spend any money, you don't get into debt, you don't put it on credit card, none of that stuff. You do sweat equity marketing. Two, once the deal comes in and you make cash, at that time, you go ahead and create yourself a corporation, create yourself a logo, etc. What everyone else does is they spend all this money creating logos, spending all this time creating corporations, LLCs, etc. Spend all this money, spend this money, and then when they start to have no money for marketing, nor do they know how to do marketing, and even if a phone call, someone calls them, they don't know what to say, how to say anything, what they should do. Go to myrealestatedojo.com and download my free script. How to start in real estate investing if you have zero in the bank. Number one, start generating leads. What do I mean? Figure different ways to generate leads for free or almost for free, like guerrilla marketing. Here's a couple of tips. You can do SEO, search engine optimization. You can create yourself a YouTube channel. You can start doing social media, etc. You can figure it out. You're smart enough. Number two, once the leads come in, then sell those leads to real estate investors locally that want to buy houses subject to seller financing, fix and flips, landlords, etc. Charge a couple $100 per month for your leads, unlimited leads, whatever you produce. Next, once you start making more money, then turn around and reach out to those investors and say, look, I want to percentage of each of these deals, 10%, 20%, 30%. Next, you'll have enough money to start buying your own fix and flips or your own rental properties for cash flow. If you're interested in more, go to myrealestatedojo.com and download my free training at myrealestatedojo.com. 3 ways for finding seller financing deals in your own backyard without spending any money. Number one, start text messaging people on FSBO websites. Go on Google, type in FSBO websites near me, and then you'll see a lot of different websites that have for sale by owners. Start text messaging them. If you don't know what to text them, go to myrealestatedojo.com and get my newest book. I give you a bunch of different ads you can run. Number two, start posting on Craigslist and other classified ads that you buy houses. If you don't know what to put in the ads, go to myrealestatedojo.com and get my newest books. I give you some ads where you can post for free. Number three, start wearing a t-shirt that says "We buy houses" everywhere you go. When you go to Kroger, when you go to the coffee shop, when you go to the gym, just says "We buy houses." And these are 3 ways where you can generate free leads. If you want more, go to myrealestatedojo.com, get my newest book, or get my free training. If you want to get off-market properties from motivated sellers, you have to realize that follow-up is the key. I have created something called 666 for success. What does that mean? That means that you have to at least, at the very minimum, touch the seller 6 times through follow-up, at the very minimum. And also, you have to touch them through 6 different medias type. For example, you have to call them one time, you have to text them, you have to send them email, you have to write them a letter. So it has to be 6 different medias, and at the very minimum, you have to reach out to them 6 times if you want to get a seller financing deal, off-market property deal from motivated seller, because no one in their right mind wants to sell their home with seller financing or at a deep discount. Only time will make them motivated, and if you're not following up, you're missing out. Go to myrealestatedojo.com and download my newest book and help me feed the homeless while I teach you how to do real estate investing. Peace. If you're a landlord or you want to become a new landlord, this tip will save you a lot of money and headache. Number one, buy the same paint for all your houses. That way you can negotiate a deep discount when you buy it at a pallet. And 2, you don't have to worry about running around looking for different stuff for different houses because every house will look the same. Number 2, buy vinyl flooring and then buy it at a pallet. That way you can negotiate a deep discount and then all your houses are exactly the same. And vinyl usually will last pretty good. Now, don't cheap out on the cheap vinyl because you don't want to be installing every renter that moves out. Number 3, every fixed accessories like fans, like cabinet knobs, have it all the same so you don't have to worry about spending more money. This way it saves you a lot of money when you buy it, and all the properties are exactly the same. If you're interested in real estate investing and finding off-market properties, go to myrealestatedojo.com and download my newest book. While you learn real estate, I'll feed a homeless in your name. Peace. If you snooze, you lose. This is a very important rule for real estate investors. When a seller calls you, you have to give them an offer in 24 hours or less, or you'll lose the deal. When the seller calls you and says, look, I'm ready to do the deal, you have to run out there immediately and sign the contract. I can't tell you the number of students that have lost deals because A, they didn't give the seller an offer immediately, and if the seller has a problem, they want a solution immediately. That's why they're called motivated. If you have a motivated seller and you don't give them an offer, you're not going to get the deal. Someone else will. And B, when a seller accepts the offer, a lot of my students will wait 24 hours, 48 hours, 3 days later before they go to their house and sign the contract. That's absolutely rubbish. They always lose the deal because there's investors out there like me that can make a decision immediately. They'll send the contract out immediately, and they'll also sign the contract immediately. So don't be that individual. If you need more training, go to myrealestatedojo.com, get my free training. Peace. The hardest part of being a real estate investor without no fluff. Number one, to believe in yourself. This sounds very simple, but it's extremely hard to have confidence that you deserve it and you want more out of life and you can do your dreams. Number two, to think you need more stuff to be your dreams. Like you don't have enough education, you don't have all the exit strategies, you don't have enough money, that you need something more to be your dreams. Number three, not having enough discipline. Hey, to be your dreams requires consistency. Every day, grinding it out. Every day. Doesn't matter if you feel like it or not, you got to do it. Discipline. Next, what holds people from being their dreams is they're too much in their thinking. They're thinking about this, they're thinking about that, instead of taking action. So stop thinking and take action. And last but not least, take action. How to target absentee owners to generate off-market properties. Number one, hit up a title company in your area and promise them that you're going to close the deals at their location if they email you the absentee owners right into your inbox. Number two, once that data hits your email, sign up for skip tracing services and run that data into this skip tracing services so you can get the seller's email, address, social media, phone number, and even friends and family, okay? Number three, take that data of the seller and start your marketing campaign. Start sending them emails, text messages, call them, send them letters, okay? Take their data and put it into Facebook retargeting, take their data and put it into other social media retargeting, and keep reaching these sellers till you get a deal. Once the seller starts calling you, then use my Ninja phone script to filter them from non-motivated to motivated. Go to myrealestatedojo.com and get my free script. How to use skip tracing to find off-market property. Now, one of the first things to do if you want to find off-market properties is to target people that are highly motivated, like the expired MLS listings or the pre-foreclosure. The problem is that once that realtor sends you that information or the title company sends you that information, then what do you do with it? Because it doesn't have the phone numbers of the sellers, doesn't have the email addresses of the sellers, doesn't have the social media of the sellers. So one of the best things that I do, I use skip tracing to find out the sellers' private information, from their emails, from their mailing address, their cousin's address, their social media, and then I start my marketing campaign to let them know that, hey, I can buy their home and relieve their pain. For example, in the expired MLSs, they have already raised their hand. They say they want to sell their home, but they couldn't. And then I start sending them emails, sending them text messages saying I can help them by buying their home. If you're more interested in learning what to say to these sellers, go to myrealestatedojo.com and download my free training. How to qualify a motivated seller over the phone in 5 minutes. A lot of people going to drive around just to meet sellers. I don't do it that way because time is money and resources. What I do is I filter out all the sellers over the phone. I'm only interested in the cream of the cream, which is called the motivated sellers. And the way that I do that is by asking them questions. Number one, I say, hey, Mr. Seller, this is a beautiful home. Why are you selling? What's your situation? And then I zip it. If the seller says something like, I'm testing the waters, he or she is not motivated. If the seller says something like, hey, I'm behind in payments, then he or she is motivated. If you're interested in getting my full phone script totally for free, go to myrealestatedojo.com and you can download it. While you're there, you can get my newest book and feed a homeless person at the same time. How to talk to motivated sellers without sounding desperate. Number one is your energy. If you're talking to them like this, like, you know, the deal's not gonna work, then you're not gonna get the deal. So when you talk to a motivated seller, you always gotta be walking around, standing up tall, and have confidence that you're gonna get the deal. Number two thing you should do is sound like, you know, you're very successful and you're very, very busy and they're not your only client. If you act like they're your only client and you're willing to do whatever, then you're not gonna get the deal. So what am I saying? Don't care. Assume that there's so many other deals out there and they're just dirt and you're just going through the dirt and find that gold nugget. Just kind of like marriage. You can't just marry every deal, every lead that comes through. You can't marry every lead that comes through. Only the highly motivated, the cream of the cream. If you're more interested in knowing exactly what to do, go to myrealestatedojo.com and download my free script. It's totally free. While you're there, you might want to get my newest book and feed a homeless person at the same time. How to close deals over the phone. Number one, when a seller calls me, the first thing I ask them is, hey, Mrs. Seller, that's a beautiful home. Why do you want to sell? And then I zip it. The next thing I ask them is, hey, Mrs. Seller, If your house doesn't sell, what are you going to do next? And then I'll zip it, because all these are telling me vital information about what the seller says. For example, if the seller says, hey, I've already moved out of the state, and if I can't sell it, I'm going to let it go to foreclosure, then I know that he or she's highly motivated, okay? 99.9% of the deals that I get are all over the phone. I don't drive to the homeowner's home until I know they're motivated. If you're interested in finding all the exact things to ask the seller to know their motivation, I'm giving it to you totally for free at my website at myrealestatedojo.com. Go ahead and download it totally for free. When you're there, you might want to check out my newest book and Feed a Homeless Person at the same time. Don't take no for an answer. Peace. 3 ways to structure seller financing deal. Number 1, the seller pays you for you to buy their house. Number 2, you buy their house and don't have to pay anything out of pocket because there's nothing to pay. The payer will pay all his fees and you will have to pay nothing. Number 3, you will buy the seller financing deal and you have to pay money out of pocket. You may have to pay for the seller to move. You may have to pay for the closing costs. You might have to pay for repairs. You may have to pay back payments because the seller may be behind 1 or 2 or 3 months. There might be back taxes. So there's basically 3 ways to structure is subject to wraparound mortgage or seller financing. Number 1, the seller gives you money. A good example of that is a property that I did where the seller gave me $500 a month for me to buy their property. Every month I cash out their mortgage. Number 2 is when I bought a property, I didn't have to pay anything for it because the house was current, the house didn't need any work, and the seller was going to pay for all the closing costs. So I just basically got a house for free. Number 3, I bought a house where I had to make 3 months in back payments because the seller was behind in payment. If you're interested in learning about real estate investing, go to myrealestatedojo.com and get my free training. What do you think needs to be done, Mr. Seller, to get the house in tip-top shape? This is a very important question to ask sellers when you want to buy their properties with seller financing or at a deep discount. So, Mr. Seller, what do we need to do to this property to get it in tip-top shape? And then I'll zip it. And usually most sellers will say, well, the house is great, blah, 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 blah. And then I go into drilling them, okay? I say, hey, when was the roof last replaced, okay? And usually they say, well, I don't remember, you know, maybe a few years ago. And then I'll re-ask that question over and over until I get a precise laser answer. I'll say, roughly, when do you think the roof was replaced? Like, when you bought the house, did it come with a new roof? And so I'll keep drilling that question over and over. I'll talk about the AC, I'll talk about the foundation, I'll talk about X and Y and Z to detail in what kind of work I need to do. Why is that important? Because that's going to determine how much I offer the seller when I buy their house with cash or with seller financing. Is there any lawsuits or liens against the property, Mr. Seller? This is a very important question to ask sellers, because if you don't ask this question, you may spend a lot of time and energy tying up this property, and at the end of the day realize that the seller may have tax liens, child support liens, IRS liens, etc. So it's very important on the phone when the seller calls you and you're filtering them out using my Ninja phone script, which you can get at myrealestatedojo.com, is to say, hey, Mr. Seller, is there any liens on the property? And usually they say, I have a mortgage on the property, okay? Do you have any child support? Do you have any back taxes? Is there any property taxes? These are questions you must ask the seller before. Now, 90% of the time, the seller will tell you the truth if you ask the right questions. 10% of the time, they'll just flat out lie to you. This is why it's important to do a title search before you buy a property. If you have any questions, go to myrealestatedojo.com and download my phone script, or download my newest book, Zero to Deal, and Feed a Homeless Person while you learn real estate investing. Peace. Exactly how much is owed on the debt, Mr. Seller? This is a very important question to ask the seller. Many of you may think, well, I'm going to be embarrassed to ask the seller that. Well, if you want to buy off-market properties, you got to know exactly what the debt balance is on the mortgage so you can figure out how you can structure a deal. Are you going to buy with seller financing? Are you going to buy it at a deep discount? Are you going to structure a wraparound mortgage, etc.? So one of the questions that I ask all the time is roughly how much is owed on the debt balance, Mr. Seller? And sometimes the seller doesn't want to reveal that. So what I do is I keep asking the same question in different ways over and over until he tells me how much he owes on it. If he doesn't want to tell me how much he's owed on it, then he's not a motivated seller, and I'm not going to do the deal. I'm not going to waste my time. But if he does tell me, then he's a motivated seller. Then the next question I ask is, what kind of mortgage is this? Is it adjustable? Is this the fixed rate? What is the interest rate? What do you owe on your second mortgage? Go to myrealestatedojo.com and get my phone script that has all the stuff you need to ask the seller. Peace. The secret of getting deals before anyone else. There's only one thing and one thing only, and that's called marketing. There's two ways to do marketing to generate leads. Number one is free, aka guerrilla marketing, and number two is paid. Now listen to this and listen to this very carefully. If you're not willing to put the money up, or if you're not willing to put the time up, then you won't be able to have success in this business. Because if you want free marketing, that requires your sweat equity. What does that mean? That could mean anything from sitting down, physically text messaging people. It could be anything from door knocking. It could be anything from sending out emails, cold calling, but it's gonna require your energy. If you're not willing to put up that energy and you're not willing to put up the money, then you're not gonna have a business. And on the flip side, if you're a guy that doesn't want to put the sweat equity, but you have cash, if you don't use the cash wisely, you're not gonna generate enough business for a return. You might want to check out my profit sharing at myrealestatedojo.com if you're already successful and you want to take your business to the next level. Peace. The trick of getting 100% owner financing on any property. Do me a favor, put your hand on your heart. Do you control that? Do me another favor. Do you control your breeding, or do you control how fast your hair grows or how slow your hair falls out? No, you don't. So what makes you think you're able to control someone else's home? You can't. The real trick of getting motivated sellers is two parts. Number one, you have to advertise to get leads. Once the leads come in, then you have to filter them to determine the non-motivated from the motivated. So the real trick of getting 100% seller financing on any property is finding motivated sellers. Motivated sellers. If someone is not motivated, there's nothing you can do in the world to make them motivated. I don't care what your skills are. You're not going to persuade someone to do something they don't want to do. So the best bet is to find motivated sellers. 5 strategies for finding off-market property leads totally for free. Number 1, expired MLS listings. Just reach out to a local real estate agent, tell them to email you the expired listing totally for free, and in return, you'll give them listings. Number 2, pre-foreclosure and foreclosure. Reach out to title companies and tell them you'll close a deal at their location if they email you the pre-foreclosure and foreclosure list totally for free. Number 3, absentee property owner. Again, reach out to title companies and let them know that you're going to close a deal at their location if they email you that list totally for free. Number 4, cycling for dollars. What that means is get on your bicycle and drive around in your local area and looking for distressed property. And number 5, divorces. The simplest way to do that is get on your county clerk's office and pull up that data and then reach out to them and let them know you buy houses. What should you ask these sellers? Go to myrealestatedojo.com and download my free phone script. And while you're there, you might want to download my newest book, Compete a Homeless Person, as well. Peace. Get an e-bike and go look for deals, guys. It's that simple. Not is it only profitable, but it's very, very fun and exciting. And it's a great exercise for your body and health, physically and mentally. So what I'm saying at MrNoFluff.com is go get yourself an electrical bike or even your analog bike and just roll around your neighborhood or across your neighborhood anywhere you feel like. If you have more strength, go further. Not only is it fun, take your kids and family, but you also have the ability to make money from it by looking for properties that are distressed. They're not cutting the grass, you know, they're not taking care of the property. There's a lot of stuff on the door and, you know, multiple messages like paper and newspapers and notices and FedEx signs, etc. How should you follow up to find motivated sellers? Well, that's really simple. You need to at least follow up with them at the very minimum 6 times in 6 different media types. Here's some examples. When a seller calls me and I use my Ninja phone script and get that Real Estate Dojo for free, when I filter them out, when they call me, next thing I do is I send them an email. After that, I send them a text message. Then I write them a letter. Then I'll drive to their home and put a flyer on their door. So what I'm trying to say is follow up is the king, and you got to do it at the very minimum 6 times, and at the very minimum 6 different ways or 6 different medias like email, text, letters, you know, Facebook retargeting, etc. You're only doing 1 or 2 time follow-up. You're never going to get these types of deals because these types of deals are like gold in dirt. You got to work for them, and you're not going to get a seller just right off the bat the first time you give them an offer. Peace. the king if you want to buy off-market properties from motivated sellers. Why do I say that? Because no one in their right mind wants to sell their property at a deep discount or with seller financing. Only time will make them seasoned for them to be harvest. What does that mean? Imagine if you had a car and the car's worth $100. Do you really want to sell your car for $3? Absolutely not. Would you sell it for 10? Absolutely not. But let's say some time goes by, you try to sell it, it doesn't work out, you have rent to pay, and you become really, really motivated. What if your kid gets sick and you become even more motivated? So as time goes by, you will become highly motivated, and if you haven't been able to sell it, you have no other choice but to sell it. If you're interested in finding off-market properties from motivated sellers, go to myrealestatedojo.com and download my book, And Feed the Homeless, Why You Learn Real Estate. Peace. How to use Facebook to generate off-market property. Number one, hit up a title company and get this data. Expired MLSs, pre-foreclosures, foreclosures, and absentee owners. Number two, sign up with the skip tracing services and run that data you get from the title company to find the seller's email addresses. Number three, log into your Facebook ad manager and upload the seller's emails into the Facebook so Facebook can retarget these sellers for you. Number four, when the sellers start calling you from your Facebook ad, start asking them My Ninja phone script so you can determine if they're motivated or not. You can get My Ninja phone script at My Real Estate Dojo totally for free. Number five, give the seller an offer with cash and owner financing. If you need any help, you can get consulting at myrealestatedojo.com, and don't take no for an answer. Using SEO to find off-market properties. Now, let me tell you a story. In 1999, I was going to college and I was starting my own business. I didn't know anything about websites, hosting, development, PHP, MySQL, or any HTML, any of that stuff, okay? But I knew that the future was going to be on the internet, so I spent a lot of time and energy learning about website creation. Fast forward a little bit, I was out of college, now living in my car with just $100, and I created a website that generated a lot of leads for the moving industry. And a few years later, I was selling these leads to moving companies. A few years later, I had my own trucks, and now I was making multi-millions of dollars, because all with SEO, search engine optimization, lead generation. If you're interested in learning how to do it yourself, go to myrealestatedojo.com. I have free courses there. If you want us to do it for you, go to myrealestatedojo.com and join our SEO program, and we'll get you results. Don't take no for an answer. Peace. Here's why your wholesaling deals are falling apart. Number one, there's a trend going on that people are trying to wait for someone, an investor, put the deal on the contract, and then they're trying to be what's called a co-wholesaler. They're trying to wholesale someone else's deal. This is not what I teach at My Real Estate Dojo. There's a lot of reasons why I don't like that strategy. Number one is because you don't have control of the deal. You're not direct to the seller. What I teach, the best way to do it is to do your own marketing and have a direct contract with the seller yourself, and then find the end buyer yourself. And if you can't find the end buyer, then you find a co-wholesaler that's going to find the exit buyer for you, versus the other way around. Don't be the end investor that's waiting for some direct to seller investor to go get the deal. You be that, because that's where the money is. This is how you can scale. This is where you can have a real business wholesaling versus co-wholesaling. 3 creative financial strategies to build your business. No bank needed. Number one, generate leads, and the ones that you don't need for your business, sell it to other businesses. That way you can grow cash flow without debt. Number two, if you're a real estate investor, many of us think we need a lot of money to buy properties. No, all you need to do is control the property and you can make money. A simple way to control the property is just simply renting the property out. So let the landlord know, hey, I'm going to rent it from you for your mortgage price, basically, and then I'm going to turn around and rent it for a higher price. Why would the landlord be willing to do that? Because A, they're motivated, and B, or some other reasons what makes them motivated. We don't have time to get into this in this video. And number three, you can buy properties through creative strategies like owner financing, where you actually get to own the property. The seller deeds you the property. If you're more interested in learning how to find off-market properties for real estate investing, then go to myrealestatedojo.com and get my free training. Don't take no for an answer. Best tip for startup entrepreneurs. Number one, start generating leads. No matter what business you are in, before you spend a whole lot of time and money and capital, start generating leads for that business. All you got to do is just create a website and start doing some SEO or other guerrilla marketing, start generating leads. Number two, before you spend a whole lot of money, pick up the leads that you just generated and start talking to these leads. A lot of people realize that they don't like sales or they don't like talking to people, so why even get in the business if you can't generate leads and if you can't close those deals? Number three, never listen to your friends, family, anyone that tells you you can't beat your dreams. If God planted that seed in your heart, listen to it and don't take no for an answer. Number four, never take no for an answer. If you want to do your dreams, everyone and their mama's going to tell you you can't do it. The economy's going to tell you you can't do it. Your mind's going to tell you you can't do it. But if you want to be your dreams, you can never take no for an answer. Always remember, you're braver than you believe, smarter than you think, stronger than you seem, and twice as beautiful as you ever imagined. Romy, peace. How to find and flip profitable items to grow your business fast. In our society, America, we just think about debt, debt, debt. If you want money, they say just sign a piece of paper and get into debt. If it's your own social security or if it's your business EIN number. But at myrealestatedojo.com, we believe in creativity and imagination. So if you want to be your dreams, some things you can do is sell stuff to make money. One thing that I've created for my real estate investor students to make money for fix and flips, to buy properties without getting into dip, is bicycle flipping. If you're interested in learning how to do bicycle flipping, where you buy something for $100 and sell it for $700, go to thenewflip.com and download my book and get free coaching. Don't take no for an answer. Yesterday I was at the coffee shop and I was talking to a girl next to me, and she said she had lost her job and she worked for a big marketing firm, and she said she wasn't the only one. Like, a lot of people had lost their jobs. She said, I think if I'm not mistaken, 22% of her corporation had laid off employees. That's a lot of people. The crazy thing is, the day before that I met another guy. He had lost his job too. And the way he had lost his job is through a conference where they do mass layoffs. He said there was like 100 people in the room, and they got up in the front and said, you guys are all fired. And I thought to myself, wow, that's crazy. But that's the status of our economy. People are losing their jobs. There's more listings for sale, and the sellers are in denial. But very soon they're gonna have to take haircuts, because, you know, when you can't pay your bills, eventually you're gonna have to sell something. Right now, people are selling their secondary homes, but eventually they're gonna be selling their primary homes. If you're interested in real estate, go to myrealestatedojo.com and download my newest script totally for free, or download my newest book and feed a homeless person. Peace. I started a moving company with just $100 living out of my car, and how you can do it too. Step number one, start generating leads. What do I mean by that? You can figure out creative ways to generate leads for free. Guerrilla marketing, SEO, search engine optimization, social media, YouTube, etc. Once you generate the leads, next thing I did is I called a couple of moving companies and I said, hey, I will sell you these leads for a couple $100 a month. And they said yes. Once I started making more money from that, then I took my leads and I reached out to some of the new moving companies and said, look, I want to give you 60% of this move and I keep 40% of it, because I did all the booking, I did all the advertisement. And then from there, I started buying my own trucks. And from there, I started having multiple locations: Dallas, Houston, Austin, Fort Worth, etc. So the way to do it is through lead generation. Peace. Every lead that calls you, you got to put the date when they call. This is a very important practice that most people don't do, and the reason is you never know how long it takes to convert a lead. One example is I got a lead from a seller and I put the date on it, and by the time the deal actually hatched, the deal converted, was 3 years later. This is when I realized that A, follow is very important, but B, for me to keep the date on it. Therefore, I know how long it takes me, how much energy it takes me, how much marketing it takes me, how much resources I have to put to convert a lead. Many of us will just talk to a seller, give an offer, and the seller says no. We may call them once, may call them twice, and that's it. Well, this is why you won't get the deal. If you want to get the deal, at the very minimum, you have to hit them 6 times, 6 different ways to have what I call 6-6 for success. And another important thing is to have the date on there, so whenever you do actually get the deal, you know how long the deal took to hatch. Go to myrealestatedojo.com, get my free training. Peace. The number one mistakes entrepreneurs make when they're starting out. Avoid this. I'm going to give you 2 as a bonus. Number one, they listen to their friends, family, social media, anyone that tells them they can't be their dreams. Never, never do this. Let me repeat. Never listen to anyone. Listen to your heart. Follow your dreams. Number 2, they listen to their thinking, their brains. They think about all the possibilities that it can go wrong. What if this happens? What if this happens? What if this happens? Very few of us spend time to think about the possibilities that it can go right. We are programmed by our genetics to survive. Therefore, we're always thinking about the negativity of life. If you want to be your dreams, you can't listen to anyone else, and you definitely can't listen to your brain. You got to listen to your heart and march forward. If you're interested in about real estate or entrepreneurship, go to myrealestatedojo.com and check out all my free training. Peace. The harsh reality of being a real estate investor. Majority of real estate investors that are new will absolutely fail. Why do they fail? Because they spend so much money in setting up corporation, logos, websites, blank, blank, blank. They just spend money, money, money. But they don't spend any money what's most important, which is leads, leads, leads. And many investors that do generate leads, they realize that they're not good in sales. They don't like talking to people. They don't know what kind of questions to ask. If you're interested to know exactly what to ask a seller, go to my website at myrealestatedojo.com and download my free Ninja phone script. So the reality is that most real estate investors will fail because they don't spend enough money and energy in lead generation. They spend all their energy in learning about strategies and spending money on setting up stuff like corporations, LLCs, websites, hosting. Go to myrealestatedojo.com and watch my free training. Peace. Here's how I'm using AI to make money in 2024 for my Real Estate Dojo business. Number one, I created this whole book cover for my newest book called Zero to Deal. You can see right here through AI. Number two, I took my video transcript and I give it to AI and sent her into a book. And this is where my book Zero to Deal came through. Number two. Number three, I use AI for SEO, search engine optimization. If you guys don't know, I've ranked number one on bicycle flipping book and bicycle flipping course for my own business. And I use AI to generate text to help me rank number higher. If you're interested, go to my Real Estate Dojo and check out my SEO services. Number four, I use AI for just spelling. Guys, I can spell and write maybe at the 4th grade, 5th grade level, and AI has helped me increase my spelling so much better. The harsh reality for real estate agents. I've owned a real estate brokerage for 10 years, and I can tell you that over 50% of real estate agents quit. And this is not just my numbers, this is the numbers from National Association of Realtors. Why do they quit? Because it's so expensive to be a realtor. You have the MLS dues, you have the Realtor Association fees, you have your office fee that you have to pay your broker, you have to pay E&O insurance, and so on and so on. You have to pay for your own advertisement, you have to pay for your own business expenses, and so on and so on. So majority of real estate agents quit because they spend so much money on stuff that doesn't generate them business versus spending that money on advertisement. If you want to be a successful real estate agent, you better learn how to advertise. Before you spend any money on all this expensive stuff, you better get a cheap real estate broker and spend your money in advertising so you can survive. If you're more interested in learning about real estate investing, go to myrealestatedojo.com and get my free training. Secret motivated seller questions to ask every seller. Number one, how much do you owe on your debt balance, Mr. Seller? Number two, what are you going to do if you can't sell this house, Mr. Seller? Number three, why do you want to sell your property? It looks like a beautiful property. What's your situation? Number four, have you listed this property with a real estate agent? And if so, why didn't it work? And then zip it. These are very important questions. There's a lot more, and this is not exactly how you ask it. If you want to know word by word, plus how to get the offer to buy their house with seller financing subject to wraparound or cash, then you can download my phone script plus giving an offer all into one totally for free at myrealestatedojo.com. While you're there, get my newest book, Zero to Deal, and feed a homeless person at the same time. We all know this is the winner of the U.S. economy and the world. And this is why I just dropped my newest book called Zero to Deal. Close your first seller financing real estate deal in 4 weeks with zero money. Here's the cool thing. When you get my book, I also will feed one homeless person in your name. I'll even send a picture of it to you. Why should you get this book? Because it teaches you how to find off-market properties without spending any money. You can go to myrealestatedojo.com and download it right now. Don't take no for an answer. And always remember, you're braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, smarter than you think, and twice as beautiful as you ever imagined. Romy. My Real Estate Dojo, claim your copy of my new book, Zero to Deal. Hi, I built a moving company with 22 employees, starting out with zero. The first thing I did is I lived in my car, so I didn't have to have an overhead expenditure right out of college. The second thing I did is I used creativity, imagination, and started doing guerrilla marketing and generating free leads. The third thing I did is I sold those leads to moving companies for just a couple $100s a month. The next thing I did is once the leads came in, then I decided to work with one moving company and I said, hey, you can have 60% of the deal. Let me just keep 40. I did the marketing, I did the booking. You just have to do the service. Once I made more money, the next thing I did is I started buying my own trucks. This way I never had to borrow money from a bank. I didn't have to get into debt. I didn't have to use credit cards. All I did is use sacrifice, discipline, creativity, and imagination. If you're interested in learning more about real estate or entrepreneurship, go to myrealestatedojo.com and get my free training. A very important lesson I learned from one of my helpers in the moving business. He helped me do moves. His name was Arturo. He hardly spoke any English, but every day I picked him up like 4:30, 5:30 in the morning to go do moves when I was first starting out with my moving company. He was so happy and chipper. I couldn't believe it. Why was he so happy? I only pay him $150 a day. I'm making $2,000 that day, but I'm not happy. I'm grumpy. Every time we're doing moves, it's hot. We're doing 3 moves, whistling, happy as a mother. And I'm thinking to myself, why is he so happy? Finally, I got a translator and I asked him, man, why are you always so happy, bro? Why are you always, whistling? It's 100-degree weather in the trailer. It's 100-degree weather moving stuff from the 3rd floor to the 2nd floor. And he said, man, I have a choice, dude. I can have a choice to be upset, or I have a choice to be happy, and I choose to be happy. And that really bewildered me as a guy that's trying to be so hungry and trying to make all this money that I have a stinky thinking, but this guy is so happy. How I have used AI to write myself a book. Now, you guys don't know I'm a refugee to America, and my spelling and writing maybe is at the 5th, 6th grade level at the very, very best. So what I did to write a book is I just pulled out my camera and I did a video on what I want to do my book to be, because I can't write or spell worth crap. Next, I took that video and give it to AI to give it a transcription. Once I had that transcription, then I give it to another AI, write me a book on my video transcription, and that's where I came with the book called Zero to Deal. It was a book that I wrote with the help of the AI, not because I let the AI do the work. I created the video, the content, and allowed the AI transcript it and then write it into a book for me because my spelling sucks. If you're interested in learning how to use AI for your business, go to myrealestatedojo.com and book a consulting call. Think about it. How does the Federal Reserve, the guys that just print out money out of nowhere, how do they have so much control all over the world? Not only in America, all over the world. Well, they have access to the printing press. And this is what seller financing is. Seller financing capitalizes on OPM, other people's mortgages. Therefore, I'm able to leverage other people's debt to create wealth for myself. This is the power of seller financing. Just like the Federal Reserve, I'm able to print money without having access to money. I'm able to use other people's money. So one of the best ways to find motivated sellers is through marketing. Who can you market? You can market people in divorces, pre-foreclosures, absentee owners, people with high equity, probate people, and so on. So the point of the story is, if you want to find deals that make you a lot of money, seller financing is the way to go, because you don't need to have your own money to be able to print money like the Fed does. One of the wisest things that I learned from a Spanish guy that was my mover that helped me do moves, my helper, and he hardly spoke English, that 20 years later, I still think about it. And it was 2 things. He said, Mike, when something happens, sometimes you can have a handle of it, and other times you don't have a handle of it. I said, what does that mean? He said, well, some things are in your control. Other things are not in your control. If something is in your control, then do everything you can to fix it. If it's not out of your control, don't worry about it. Don't stress yourself over it, because I used to always worry about, we have these moves, I'm not sure we're going to get to there in the future and stuff like that. And he was like, man, that you don't have control over. Why are you stressing about it? And even though the guy didn't speak that great English, over all these years, that thought has really hit me. It's actually called stoicism, if I'm saying it right. I doubt he knew what that was. He just found it through trial and error. So if you have control, control it. If you don't, leave it alone. Move forward with your goals. A quick update for real estate investors. As I'm driving around in my city, I am seeing more and more and more properties that are coming up for sale that have not sold. The craziest thing is, which is for the seller, but amazing for me, is that I am seeing now multiple properties down the same street. Now, do me a favor, look around in your area. Now that you're conscious about it, now that you're aware about it, the next week or 2, leave me a comment. Let me know if you're seeing more properties on the same street, because I've now traveled to multiple states and I'm seeing the same exact thing happening from my home state to multiple states, that more houses are sitting on the market. Hey, I'm going to coffee shops and real estate agents are crying about how they're not able to sell their property. Love to know your thoughts. Go to myrealestatedojo.com and get my newest book, and Feed the Homeless While You Learn Real Estate. Peace. why starting small can lead into big success in your business. Number one, many of us want to spend a lot of money creating logos, creating corporations, paying for X, paying for Y. It's very easy to spend a whole lot of money, but it's very hard to make money. So the best thing to do as a small business owner is to start generating leads. I don't care what business you're in. If you're in the moving business, you're in the construction business, you're a real estate investor, a real estate agent. If you want to start in the business, the very first thing to do is start generating leads. Why do I say that? Because you don't have to have any overhead. You don't have to spend all this money having a storefront. You don't have to spend all this money buying furniture. You don't have to have all this money overhead. All you do is put your energy in lead generation. If you start small and you generate a lot of leads and you're able to close those deals, then you can have massive profits with house money. That means your customers will give you the money without you getting into debt or borrowing it or using your own savings. If you want more information, go to myrealestatedojo.com and download my free training. Peace.